Hi, I'm Girlfriend. This is Leather and Laces, a quick show about kink, BDSM, and leather things, and lots of puppies today. So, I'm Girlfriend. This is an 18 and up show. If you are under the age of 18, I ask that you do please leave at this time. Go check out Scarlet Teen. They are a great podcast resource for the youngins. I am not a youngin. I'm very old and bitter. I don't mind it.
I like you.
Aw, you're so sweet. So, these are the opinions of myself or Akis. It does not reflect any contest or any other affiliates that we either run for or do, or for the sake of Florida Leather Fetish Pride, or Florida Critter, or Florida Community Boot Black.
I'm not speaking for anybody else. I think that's probably a good way to say it.
Yes, you're speaking for yourself. I'm covering all my bases because my contest as well. Florida Leather Boy, Leather Sir, and Community Boot Black. So, and today I have my dear friend Akis, who is amazing. And we're gonna get into some questions, and we're gonna be doing some teaching today, cause
I'm gonna be doing the learning.
He's gonna be doing a lot of the learning. So he has never ever done any of the boot black stuff. You can't chew on your shoes.
I just did.
Well, damn. I'm gonna make you buff it out. All right. So, who are you?
I'm me.
You're you.
Yay!
Hey, me. Hi.
Show
me.
over. I'm Pup Akis. Pup Akis. Oh gosh, what else do you need to know? Florida Leather and Fetish Pride Critter from 2019, and I'm the host of the Dog Dish podcast. And oh gosh, I should have brought my resume with me. No, there's like it's in the signature of my emails even, and I forget the year. That's the problem. 2018, I think it was. And we're live, and so I can't be like, hey, cut and back up so I can figure out what I'm trying to say here. Oh.
It's okay.
Yeah, total brain blank. So that's me.
I love it.
I'm Akis, whose brain turns off when he needs it to work.
Okay, cool, Akis. Brain turns off when he needs to work. What are your pronouns?
I use he and him pronouns.
He and him. Awesome. Your contact info, in case anyone wants to get in contact with you or follow you and all these fun podcast things.
Basically, Pup Akis on all the things.
All the things.
AECHUS.
We'll also link it down and below on YouTube and such, so I will have contact info for you.
Yay! All the links.
All the links. And what are we cleaning today?
Oh, not my mind. Okay. These are what?
Oh, there's someone watching us.
Oh,
yeah. Hi.
we have an audience. Yay!
Hi.
And they showed up after I screwed up and had the brain
yes.
fart, right? Yes.
Maybe.
Thank you. Okay, so these are obviously not my leather boots. I, as a puppy, have neoprene gear and not leather gear. And so you say, hey, bring something leather we can work on. I'm like, my belt?
We could do belts.
That's about all I have. But it occurred to me that I have shoes that I wear for my human job that could use some attention. And
human jobs are important.
And so human jobs are important, and human jobs also don't like this sometimes. So I figured it would be a great conversation starter for like, hey, I've got leather in my human life that doesn't necessarily overlap with or intersect with my puppy life. Because for a while I've been working at a Catholic school and being like, hey, I'm a puppy who goes to events and like crawls around on the floor with other grown-ass humans trying to pretend like we're dogs. That doesn't usually go over too well.
No.
Yeah, and so anyway, what we have here are shoes of mine that I've had for a long time that I love and that are fun, but I have not taken any care of them at all. I'm sorry, don't hurt me.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Okay, thank you.
Without consent.
And do not consent to that.
There you go.
Don't like pain, so okay, cool, so we're safe. Yeah, so it's basically just they're John Fluvogs that I adore, and they make me smile, and then I see what I've done to the toes of them, and I don't smile anymore.
And that's okay. We're gonna buff them and fix them a
Because
little
puppy
bit.
toes are a thing.
Yes, and the human feet are a thing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do one shoe, and Akis is going to do the other shoe. That way he can learn how to take care of some things.
Please tell me we're not going to set them side by side afterward and be like, here's...
I mean, you get to shine with me though. You get to learn with me. So what we're going to do first is we're gonna unlace them.
Aha.
So the first part of any of this, we got to unlace it.
And these, of course, are the kinds of shoes that I laced once and slide my foot into and out of. Okay, and I can't do this facing them. What the hell? I mean, you never lace your own shoes on somebody else's feet, do you?
I mean, depends on the fetish.
Okay, all right, fair. So we're gonna jump to one of the questions you warned me you might ask, and I'm gonna say that
I have them all in the card. So
oh my goodness! So you're all sorts of prepared. So I'm gonna throw a curveball here, and I'm gonna jump ahead to one of your cards.
Go ahead.
And you were going to ask me what my fetish and kink interests are, and I'm gonna tell you that they're basically just puppy. That's my usual answer. There we go. So I don't. When I participate in the BDSM kink community, I do so as a puppy, and that's about the only way that I represent myself and the only way that I engage with the community. And so when you're like, it depends on what you're into, I'm like, I'm not into that, because that's not puppy play. And so I have never tried like lacing and unlacing my shoes when they're not on my feet, because why would I do that? Because puppies don't do that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But you still can fetch your own slippers, which is pretty dope.
Yes, yeah, I will fetch.
Okay, so we're actually going to clean your laces first, because that is the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to grab the laces. This is why I handed you a little rag.
Yep.
So we are going to take...
Oh, they need cleaning too, don't they?
They do. So this is 1 to 10 alcohol solution.
Okay.
So it's 1 part 10. We're going to put it on the rag first. No, that's bad. I already went to the vet once today. I don't need to go again. So we're just going to put it right on the rag. You can put your laces, and we're just going to pull them right on through and make them all nice and clean.
And make fun squeaking sounds.
They do. And if they're super dirty, your rag will be very black. But yours are pretty and baby blue. And I love them.
It sounded like it was laughing.
It kind of does. All right. So once they're pretty clean, we're just going to toss them in the front here and let them dry.
See, you got all the confidence in the world, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I missed
You
a
should
spot.
take your time.
Because they're really not clean right there. I have this problem with being a perfectionist, especially when I'm learning things. It's like, I haven't learned it well enough yet. Can't stop. Okay, all right.
You were fine. Also, if you see a dog jumping around like a bio dog, that's my dog.
So do you need to clarify terms? Does everybody know what a bio dog is?
Oh, I don't think everyone knows what a bio dog is.
I mean, they do, but they don't know that's what we call them.
Yes, that's true. So bio dogs are dogs that you keep as pets. Human pups.
Yeah, so in the puppy play community, we talk about pups and dogs all the time because that's us. And if we need to clarify that we're talking about something that isn't a person as a dog, but is actually an animal that was born as a dog kind of thing, we clarify by calling them bio dogs. They are biologically dogs as opposed to a human pup or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yes, like my service dog, he's a bio dog. He comes around with me. I have a pup who comes around with me as well, but is not my service dog. He
Walks along on 2 feet, and yeah. And we sometimes also use the word canine.
That's true.
So we'll talk about humans and canines, and that kind of clarifies it a little bit.
Deal. All right, so we're going to take that rag that we got, and we're going to toss it away.
Oh.
Bye-bye. Because you don't want to re-dirty rags, because that's never fun. So
They were barely dirty to begin with. You got a whole bunch of these over there.
This is why I was cutting them all up in front of you.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to take the shoe.
Take the shoe.
You're going to take the shoe, and you're just going to dust it off.
I have been sitting in my room for a while because COVID, and haven't had to wear fancy shoes since COVID because I'm just working from home in my PJs and my slippers.
All right. So tell us your first experience and what brought you into the lifestyle.
First experience with puppy play. So I was on Scruff, as one does, and some cute guy from Arkansas. I live in Florida, by the way. So some cute guy in Arkansas had something in his profile about puppy play. And I'm just like, what is that? Oh, hang on. Again, perfectionist. I just realized I missed the spot. And I asked what puppy play was, and he starts to tell me, and long, like, condensed version, it's a whole bunch of people getting together and acting like dogs. I was like, wait a second, that makes a lot of sense, and that sounds like a lot of fun. So the conversation went on, and I was like, oh wait, there's a name for that thing that I did when I was in high school and had a dog. I'm an only child as a human, and so I would sit on the living room floor with the dog, and the dog and I were BFFs, and I would like wrestle around with him, play with him, and I got to understand how he worked, and we would like understand each other, I would say. Yeah, that's a good word for it. And then I saw that other people do that, and that was like a thing, and so, you know, that's the whole one thing led to another, and started asking questions and started meeting people and finding out, you know, what exactly do you do and how does that work? Fast forward by a few months, and I was on a trip out to San Francisco for a conference for that aforementioned Catholic school, and I went to Door Alley in San Francisco, which is the younger gay cousin of Folsom.
Oh, nice.
I went out to Mr. S. Leather and got this hood, like 5-6 years ago at this point, and then went to Folsom or to Door Alley and had no idea what I was doing. I was walking around acting cute and getting pictures with people because they're like, oh, it's a puppy, it's so cute. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay, that's fine. And took pictures and all. So it was a lot of fun, but it was very overwhelming because I didn't know how humans interacted as puppies. So it's been a lot of like trying to figure out how those two identities kind of blend and combine over time.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. All right, so we got that. So we got our shoes all dusted.
Yes. So
as you see, I bought you another rag, and this one's bigger. You can chew on it. It's clean. If you rip it, it's okay.
Well, it would pull out my teeth first, so we're not going to do that too. Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to grab plain water here.
Aww.
So we're going to grab some water, and we're going to spray the shoes directly.
Okay, so as an ignorant, I don't know what I'm doing here, I've always been told that leather and water don't mix. So why are we doing this?
They do not mix well. So you don't want to run in the rain with your leather and go crazy, because you'll end up reforming your leather and such, which is never ever fun, especially if you've got like weird wonky feet. Some people, like fresh new Doc Martens, will actually take showers with them. I have taken showers with boots before to form them or to clean them. Sometimes leather's a good thing. Oh boy, your jaw dropped.
Okay.
So water is not the enemy here. Water can be good. The thing that water can produce if you don't clean it properly is mold.
Okay.
And that's never fun to take care of on leather. So
we sprayed the water on it just to help clean it a little bit better than just the dusting.
Yep, and we're gonna take Fidbergs, and my boyfriend's gonna murder me because I can never pronounce this. Feblings. I promise.
Isn't it Feblings?
That's what I always thought it was. I don't know. My boyfriend yells at me every time because apparently I mispronounce it. It's saddle soap.
Okay.
So it's saddle soap. You can also use glycerin from Michael's. Any type of soap base. You're going to get a little brush. These are called dauber brushes. And we're going to add some water right onto the soap. Yes, you can brush your teeth. We're going to just lather it up. And we're going to start doing little itty bitty circles.
How much? More?
That's great.
That's good? Okay.
Less is more.
Okay.
Some people like using lots of soap. I personally love doing less is more.
All right.
Because I can build product, but like once you put it on there, it's on there.
Goopy to take off. Gotcha.
And you don't want to like cake it into your stuff. So you want to get your tongue of your shoe.
Okay. And are you sticking just to the green, or are you doing the whole thing?
We're going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do everything. So why did you pick the name Pup Agus?
So I didn't pick the name. I made the name.
You made it.
I made the name. It's not a real word. It's based on the Latin word that we use in English to get the word equality. The Latin word also means like fairness and justice and that sort of thing. And so I picked the name because I went to a couple of puppy events and puppy moshes and that sort of thing. And I was noticing how I interacted with people and what my priorities were. And it seems like when I'm around other folks, I'm always concerned about making sure that everybody gets paid attention to. that nobody feels left out and that sort of thing. And so at puppy events, we'll sometimes have little chew toys that we'll all be, tossing around or whatever. And if I see somebody that didn't get the chew toy passed to them for a while, then I will like intentionally pass it to that one pup to make sure they didn't feel left out.
You were so sweet at one of the events we were at. You passed the chew toy to my service dog.
Well, duh.
It was adorable.
I mean, I want to play with the dog too. And so I didn't spray the back of the shoe with water first. Does that matter?
Oh, you're already using water, so you're fine.
Okay, all right.
You already got it.
And let's see here.
Do I want to know what's happening on TikTok? TikTok, if you want to talk to us, we're over on Twitch.
I don't know what. We're giving this a hand signal. I don't.
Oh, gotcha. No problem. Don't worry about it. I'll handle. TikTok apparently wants to be crazy today, which is fine.
Okay.
But we'll have Twitch.
Okay. So yeah, I like pass chew toys to folks, and my favorite thing to do, absolute favorite thing to do in any kind of large public mosh. Mosh, by the way, is when human pups all get together in one space and we all just crawl around and act like dogs and have crazy fun. My favorite thing to do is to walk around the outsides of it and interact with the humans that are standing there, especially the humans who have no idea what's going on. They're like, the hell am I witnessing here? And I will go up and I will do what I can to basically say, not actually vocally say, but to show them that they can interact with human puppies and it's fine. And like, I will encourage them, I'll like nudge them and lean up against their leg and that sort of thing, and do what a canine would do.
To get attention.
Yeah, but in a very calm and non-confrontational way. Because sometimes you get a canine and you don't know how they're going to react, and they like freak out and they go crazy, or they have their heads show up here and climb all over me here and all that. But instead, I would be calm and just say, like, here's a dog, treat me like a dog, and go from there. And so I would bring those people in too. And so I wanted, whenever I decided I needed a name, I wanted to get a name that represented and reflected who I am and how I work. And that sense of, I want everybody to be included and a part of it seemed very important to me. I almost named myself Miko, but then I was like, nope, I'm going to be forever attached to another character, and I don't need that. I need to be myself instead.
You're going to be a little raccoon.
Correct. Like, I adore that character, and I adore that character's personality, but no, I needed to be me instead. So I made up the word. I gave myself a last name, too, because I'm like, I need to exist on, public spaces, and I need a Facebook profile and all that, and they always ask, what's your last name? So I made up Corendus. It's another intentional misspelling of a Latin word. That one for, fun fact, I looked it up in like Latin to English dictionaries, and they all say that it means cared for. And I was like, well, that's great. I'm in it for the scritches, so I'm a dog that likes to be cared for. And then I learned a couple years later that no, that's like a hospital patient, cared for medically.
Oh.
Yeah, because the caduceus with the snakes that go around, that's the same root word as Corendus. So I guess I'm like puppy who likes equality who's sick in the head or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted my name to mean that I'm in it for the snuggles and such. There we go.
I love it. Okay, so it looks like you got a lot of soap on.
I was going to say, it looks like I got too much soap on there from the sounds of your voice.
It happens, and this is why you have the extra towel. So what you're going to do is just spray directly onto the towel. And you're just going to wipe it off very gently.
I love that she's doing the wiping off for me.
Well, here you go.
So how worried should I be that I got it like in the...
We're going to clean up the seams, so you're fine.
Seam, that's the word I was looking for.
So these are very, very pretty boots. I love the shoes. Can you tell us about your podcast?
I can tell you about my podcast, yes. So my podcast is called The Dog Dish.
It's super cute. Go check it out.
Dogdishshow.com, Dog Dish Show on Facebook, Dog Dish Show on Twitter, that sort of thing. And it's off to a really slow start. I've only got 6 episodes so far, and it's been out for like a year or 2 years, something like that. The pandemic got me derailed. Depression got me derailed. So there's not, like, if you've never heard of it before, you can still show up and like get yourself caught up really easily because you're only 6 episodes behind. See, that's the bonus there. It's a podcast. Get it? Podcast. It's a podcast all about puppy play and the humans behind the hoods. So I talk with other folks in the puppy community about whatever it is they find most interesting about puppy play, or we talk about the biggest concerns that we have about puppy play. Did I do that right?
You did.
Okay. So we had, actually, I've got more to say, so what's the next thing we're going to do?
Oh, okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the toothbrush.
Yep.
So you get a toothbrush.
Yay.
And we're going to just go along these seams to make sure they're nice and clean with just water. And we're going to do the heel and the welt.
Welt.
This part right here is called the welt of your shoe.
Okay.
And the toe.
And so with just the water in the brush, so it's like just spray the, there we go, spray the brush and then do the thing. I got it. Okay. And so in the podcast, we've got one episode about how to form community within puppy play. We got another one. Let's see, the most recent one that it just came out last week was about collars and why people use collars, what those collars represent, that sort of thing. And let's see, I've got an episode coming up about handlers and what handlers do within the puppy community, like why we have them, that sort of thing. You're a handler?
Yes.
Huh. That explains why you keep trying to tell me I can't have fun.
Yes, sometimes.
Let's see here. And what else have we talked about? We're going to have an episode about names, but I haven't recorded that one yet. So anyway, just like trying to get a sense of how people think about puppies within puppy play. Oh, we did one where it was just a talk that I gave at Florida Power Exchange a couple of years ago, and I recorded the talk and then posted that as a podcast episode about hierarchy in puppy play. So within the human puppy community, we have
Dog dynamics.
we have dog dynamics. We have like puppy packs and that sort of thing. And within a puppy pack, people will oftentimes have different roles within those packs. So you'll have an alpha as the dominant within the pack, and you'll have the beta that helps out the alpha and that sort of thing. And you'll have some people like me who call ourselves gammas, saying that we don't necessarily fit in with the hierarchy as other people might. And so I gave a talk at Florida Power Exchange about those power dynamics within puppy groups and packs and that sort of thing. And I basically said that they are all bullshit. Which was fun. Hear me out though, before anybody starts like flaming me. The idea that dogs and wolves have alphas in their packs and all of that came from this particular researcher back in the don't quote me on this, but I want to say 40s. And then he himself said, actually, never mind, I was wrong. Wolves don't actually work like that. But the idea got stuck in the popular culture, or popular psyche, and so we're all like, oh, the alpha of the pack, and that's not actually a thing. And so I just talked us through that. Anyway, I'm rambling.
I love it.
That's the podcast.
I'm learning new things, and I'll take that.
It's a place to talk about pup stuff and think it through a little bit.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so while you have your toothbrush, we're actually going to scrub the bottom of the heel here as well.
Here?
Yep. You're just going to scrub that guy, and they're going to just nicely brush down. Make sure you get all like the gunks and rocks and things like that.
Got it.
On the soles of the foodies. Gotcha. So what is puppy play, and why is it so important to you?
Puppy play, so the short answer to that is that puppy play is an opportunity for people to act like dogs. Like that really is the long and short of it. It's you go around and you behave like a dog would, and you whatever. But the thing is, whenever I say act like a dog, whatever came to your mind is different than what came to your mind. And all of that is valid. All of that is part of puppy play. It's just, you're in it for whatever interests you. So from my side of things, I like the silly playfulness of dogs, in case you haven't noticed by now in this video. And the simplicity of thought that dogs have. So whenever I get involved in puppy play, I do it so that I can just kind of relax and chill out for a bit. My professional life, I am a professor in college, and it's my job to pay attention to what 30 other people are thinking all the time and make sure that they go through the right thought process to do whatever it is we're talking about. And I like being able to be a puppy afterward and just not have to worry about what other people are thinking, just worry about being in the moment and being present and having fun and making people giggle and that sort of thing. And there are other people who are in it because you can like wrestle with other pups whenever you get into more energetic play and that sort of thing. Other people are in it because you wear a hood like the one that I got on, or others that cover more of your face or more of your head, and people don't recognize you whenever you post naked pictures of yourself online or post pictures of you having sex with people online. So there are people who do the puppy thing for the anonymity of it. So yeah, there are a whole bunch of different reasons, but for me, it's that simplicity of thought. Actually, a good metaphor or a good way to explain it is if you have a dog and you look at that dog in the middle of the afternoon or whatever, and you're like, what is that dog worried about right now? What is that dog like thinking about? And the answer is generally absolutely nothing, or like they're worried about where the next bone is that they can gnaw on for a bit or something like that. Like they got the good life, right? It's the ability to let go and just be present and think simple thoughts.
I love it.
Really attractive.
It's being the best, at least good.
Okay.
So it's a little wet, so you're just going to take the towel and just wipe off all the excess wet.
We drool, I'm sorry.
I know.
It's a thing.
I'm well aware. I sleep next to one every night, for the most part.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we're happy and poly.
Good. Okay.
There was a lot of consent and negotiations that went on beforehand.
Okay.
There was. So what is the difference between a neoprene and leather puppy?
That is a train. That's not the answer to your question.
That is a train.
There's a train going by.
There
okay.
is.
Difference between a neoprene and a leather puppy. The smart-ass answer is that a neoprene puppy has a hood made out of neoprene, and a leather puppy has a hood made out of leather.
I'll take that answer.
To elaborate a little bit, I would say that a leather puppy, if I say that phrase, I'm imagining that the L in leather is capitalized. And if I talk about a leather puppy, I'm thinking of someone like me who presents as a human pup, who exists within the leather community, who fits in with that group of people, who has similar values and principles as that community, who gets along with other folks in that specific aspect of BDSM kink life. And I know that those aren't all three the same thing, I get it. But a neoprene puppy, that's not a phrase. Like, that's not something I would capitalize in my head. That's not something that is generally recognized. That's just a pup who happens to have neoprene gear, which is very common here in Florida, because anytime we get a bunch of pups together, we start moshing together, we get exhausted, we start like dripping with sweat, and somebody goes, look, there's a swimming pool. And so we all just jump in and have a pool party. And neoprene works in pools because it's not like allergic to water, like we were talking about leather being.
Yes. Yep. No, I wear my leather, but like my leather is usually just this vest and nothing else because it's hot here in Florida. I don't care. I run around naked all the time. This is the most clothes you people ever get to see me in. You can pay for my other fans.
Yeah, yep. My hood even has these straps in back. It doesn't cover the back of my head so that more heat can leave. And that's just, it's amazing. Because other people have the ones that fully enclose their heads. And you can watch the sweat dripping down their neck, like within 2 minutes of them putting the hood on. It's like, how do you do that? That's insane.
But it's really cool. All right.
And it's very hot.
It's whatever they're. I love it. All right. What made you want to run for the critter contest?
So you're asking what made me want to run for Florida Leather and Finish Pride Critter 2019. The fact that nobody else did. That is legit the reason. So we here in Tampa, the Tampa Bay area, we had a contest that was.
I think it's in here.
Hey, look at that! It was that contest.
Yeah, this contest.
That it was offering a title competition for pet players, people like me who present as animals. And it was the first time anybody did that without saying it's a puppy contest or a pony contest, because that's another very, very popular form of pet play. And so there have been tons of puppy contests, tons of pony contests, but here in the Tampa Bay area, we've got a bunch of other critters.
There's kittens.
We've got lots of kittens. We've got several foxes. We've got a land shark. We've got a sealroo.
I did not know
that. It's a combination of a seal and a kangaroo. Yep,
I need to meet these people.
We've got a bunch of like we got a panther and a tiger, and that's like lions.
And a whole bunch of bears.
Well, yes, in
Different kinds, though.
There we go. So yeah, there's a difference between like the identity type within the gay community. So we've got the bears and the otters and whatever, and then you've got the pet players where we present as an animal and interact as animals. And so here in Tampa, saying a puppy contest is awfully limiting. That excludes a whole bunch of people from consideration, even though we all get along together, we all play together. We got a monkey, I forgot. We got a bonobo monkey who is so fun to play with until they start throwing poo, and then just all bets are off.
I want to play with that monkey.
Oh, but you do. They're so fun. So fun. So in Tampa, it just made sense to have a contest that wasn't just for puppies or just for ponies. And the word that felt best here in Florida was critter. Other states have pet contests, like the Oregon State Pet. Shout out to Timber. Was true. The second non-species specific pet play title that anybody had. So anyway, we had this title, this contest for the critter, and nobody ran for it. And I'm like, no, this is too important. This needs to be a thing. This needs to happen. We need to say you can have a title and one of these contests that isn't just for puppies or just for ponies. We need to have something that's available to the broader community. And I was having a conversation with a contest producer, and she was asking me, are you going to run for this? And I said, well, do you have other people running for it? She said, no, and I'm going to have to cancel the title like next week if we don't have any run. It's like, well, shit. I guess I'll run now, because I wanted to make sure that the contest existed. I wanted to make sure that the title existed. I wasn't running for me. I was running for the title. I was running because it needed to have a presence. And I even said this on the stage during the contest, where during the little speech portion. I'm like, I don't need this title. This isn't something for me. This is something for the community. This is something that we need to have as pet players. We need to have something we can point to and say, look, it's not just for one species or another. And so that's why I ran, because I believe in the concept of this more inclusive sense of pet play. So we can talk about pet play or critters and not just puppy this, puppy that, puppy everything. Because we will take over the world if you let us.
Yeah, dogs.
Warning.
Cats versus dogs. Dogs are winning, guys.
we will piss on all of it and it is ours.
Except if you break it, then that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's how handlership works.
Fair. I like it. Yep.
Deal. Okay, so let's get back to the shoes. Okay, so we scrubbed them. So now we'll possibly light them on fire. You didn't know there was fire involved, did you? Don't worry, your shoes will be fine. So you've got these little itty bitty baby threads.
Yep.
And the best way you can, if it was a nice long thread, you tie it off and put a knot in it and hope it stays. The best way that everyone has found is getting lighters and just gently burning them very quickly. Now, I would always recommend investing in a nice cigar lighter because it hangs out. It doesn't burn off, and you don't hurt your thumb doing this 50 billion times. So I'm going to gently do this first. I'm not going to kill your shoes because I'll cry. And it's just quick. That guy's all burnt down. And we're just going to check.
So I noticed that you didn't burn it down so it was flush. There's a little bit left.
There's a little bit left just in case it goes off, and that way you don't end up burning and scorching the leather.
Okay.
Because that's important. Like, if you scorch it too hard, you're going to put a hole in your leather.
Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, ooh, fire! And then I would also be like, oh, there's a little bit of fuzz left, and I would burn the shoe. So, all right.
Yes. But because it's already burnt down, it's not going to fray back up. And if it does, you just reburn and just do a quick tap. So
I think, this shoe has the one spot in the exact same place as yours did.
Do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
Oh, no.
That's fair. Make sure. Boop. There we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Told you it wasn't too bad. There was just a little bit of fire play. Just a little fire. So who can compete for the critter contest?
That's a complicated question because there is no critter contest.
And that makes me very sad.
I know. So after the year I competed, the Florida Leather and Fetish Pride contest just kind of imploded or stopped, or whatever verb we're going to use here.
We're sad.
We are.
It was my home too.
So I'm the first one and I'm the last one, and there we are. But there will be a Florida Critter Contest once COVID ends. We're not sure. But then, if blah 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 blah, in the Florida Critter Contest, it's going to be designed with the same intention. It is designed as a contest to pick up where mine left off, and just continue that trend of offering a non-species specific pet play title in Florida. So who can run for that one? I don't know. I don't run the show. I don't make the decisions. So I'm speaking only for myself and not as a representative of Florida Critter or whatever, anything like that. My guess is, if you identify as a pet player, as someone who presents as an animal, who is into acting like that animal and interacting with other people and that sort of thing, you can run.
Yeah.
It is very closely aligned to the contests and titles that are common in the leather community. So the more closely aligned you are with the leather community, the more comfortable you will be with the contest, and the more familiar with the contest idea you will be. But I wouldn't say that is a requirement, right? One question that often comes up is, can a furry apply for a critter contest? And again, I'm not speaking for the contest owners, so their answer might be different. But I would say that furries have their own events. They have the conventions that they go to and that sort of thing. And furries are a different approach to that animal-human blend. Yes. A critter here for pet play is a human that is acting like an animal. And furries are all about animals that act like humans. It's completely the opposite approach to things, and like different mentality. Yes, a lot of people are both. Yes, there's a tremendous amount of crossover within the communities. But these contests that we're talking about here are more for the people who crawl around on all fours or hop around as the monkey does, that sort of thing.
Or tote a cart with a pretty girl in the back. And
yes, yeah, for pony play, and you do like the dressage stuff and the carting and all. So it's those who act like animals is what these are designed for.
Deal. All right, cool.
I told you I talked too much.
I love it. I love it. What is the critter flag? And can you go into depth why you chose the design? I think I have it on my...
I was just going to say,
I have it right here.
I'm going to talk a lot, so tell me what we're doing next.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I'm not going to ask you to take that off of your...
Can I? Did I put the locking? I put the locking back on.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's totally fine.
We'll put a nice picture here of what the critter flag looks like. Pup will do it.
Are there show notes so we can put a link in?
Yeah.
Then in the show notes, I will send you a link. We will put a link to my full description of the pride flag, because I'm probably going to forget something because I haven't thought about it in a while. But I will answer your question as soon as we go over what we're doing next.
Let's go ahead. So we're going to go ahead and put some conditioner down. So we're going to use Chelsea's, the clear food, leather food, and the whole base of the shoe. So.
You said food.
It is leather food, though, and you got a neoprene.
I'm neoprene.
But it's okay. So how you condition something is you're going to warm it up actually in your hands very quickly, and you're just going to rub it right on all the leather.
Just love it up.
And just love it on up.
And I didn't see how much you grabbed. So
less is more.
So that's too much.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's why you ask before you do, and I didn't do that right.
It's okay.
That's still too much?
That's perfect. Then make sure you warm it up in your hands. That way it gets some time to activate.
Gotcha. So the Critter Pride flag, the reason it came to be was because, same reason that the title exists, because there was nothing out there that was designed. Oh, I recognize the smell. Wow, that's crazy. There was nothing out there that was designed to represent pet players in general. There's the puppy pride flag. The most commonly seen one, the most familiar one, was created by Pup Flip, and it's derived from kind of a combination of the leather boy flag and the leather pride flag. So it's got the blues and the blacks and the whites, and it's got the angled stripes like the boy flag does. There's no problem with you getting on the inside of this.
No, we're gonna put some in there.
Oh, wow.
Remember we talked about that a little earlier.
Puppy brain. You
it's
kidding
okay.
me? I remember what? And okay, so we wanted a flag. Oh, so okay, flip gray, and the puppy pride flag has the red bone in it and the blue and black and white stripes at an angle. And then there's the pony flag, which I'm not as familiar with as I should be, but it's got black and white and green in it, and it's got two interlocking horseshoes,
yeah,
on the inside of it, and they're great flags, and they have stories behind them and a history and meaning and all that, and they are very specific to those two species. And so we wanted to set out to do something that was a little bit different, and created a flag that was supposed to represent the idea of pet play, and the idea of pet play, I would say, is connection and sharing and interacting with one another, whether that be multiple critters or if that's critter and human, which it so often is. And so the centerpiece of the flag is that red heart, which is a bit of a nod to the leather pride flag, because the leather pride flag has a big red heart in the top left corner. So I started with that in the middle. And then I wanted to somehow represent animals coming together. And so it's a generic paw print. It's not supposed to be a puppy paw. It's not supposed to be any one particular species. It's a generic paw print and a generic shoe. So, like, I don't know, do other animals besides horses get shoed? Probably. I don't know. The idea...
I'm trying to think of all the years I rode horses. I don't think so.
Maybe some other cultures put shoes on other animals. I don't know. The idea was I needed something to represent animals that have hooves and animals that have paws, and so we tried to just do a generic paw and a generic shoe and put those together to show, like, the sense of community behind pet play. You look like you were about to...
No, someone commented.
No, you were about to tell me to do something?
Oh, no, I was looking at
Okay.
the chat. You're fine.
And so then behind that heart, it's got 4 stripes. It's got the orange, the brown, the green, and the white. And at first glance, that should kind of bring to mind the idea of dirt, grass, sky, and cloud. And the idea there was that we are... Wait, I said orange, brown, green. My brain is really not working.
We got orange, green, blue, and white.
The second time I said it right. The first time I said it wrong. So it's orange, dirt, green, grass, blue, sky, and white, cloud, because animals exist outside. So that was the starting point of that. And then each color has its own meaning and significance. So the orange, from the original, or the existing gay pride flag, the 6-stripe one that we all are familiar with, the 8-stripe one that was created, and I forget the name of the guy who created it, and I feel bad that I forget the name, but back in the 1970s. The orange stripe means or represents health. And I thought that was perfect because a lot of people use pet play as something to aid them with their mental health. It lets us escape for a bit mentally, kind of go on a little mental vacation. It lets us revert a bit and not have to worry about so much stuff. And so it is healthy for a lot of us to engage in this kind of play, to just kind of chill out for a bit and have fun. The the next one was the green. Oh shoot! And this I do not have at the top of my head. I forget. There's a reason behind that one, and I don't remember what it was. Son of a gun! You can tell I didn't do my homework. Full disclosure: I was out of the state this weekend and didn't get the questions until I got back, and I didn't have a chance to do my homework. So I forget even why I used that color. Oh my gosh.
We have it linked in the card below, so that would be fine.
Perfect. I want to say it's the same. Again, the gay pride flag, the green represents something, but I forget what it represents. The blue was because the sky's the limit with pet play. You can make your personality, your petsona, your pupsona, whatever you want it to be. And then the white for the clouds can be a combination of white for innocence, because all puppies are innocent.
It's true.
She said it. You heard it here.
It's true.
It is true. We are all innocent.
True.
And if we are saying that white represents clouds, when people stare up at the clouds, they make them into whatever they want them to be. And so there is that creative interpretation of what is it going to be, right? So the idea of this flag was to represent the diversity of the community, the inspecificity of it. Like, it's not just this one kind. There isn't one right way to do things. It's what you need it to be. It's what you want it to be. How you make it work for you.
I love it.
There we go.
I love it. Okay. Well, good thing is because your shoes need more Chelsea's because they're sucking this in.
Okay.
So that's
how can you tell that?
The way how this is feeling now, it's gotten all dry. Your hands might have a lot more of the conditioner on there still, because I've wiped mine off. But yeah, it definitely, like, see how there's like all those nice big white patches and such. It if you look, I'm gonna show the camera as well. These guys still need a little bit more leather love, and that's fine. This is why I say less is
Start
more,
little
and we
and
can
go more.
we can build more.
All right.
So we're gonna do a whole nother layer here.
Oh, okay.
And because you have like these nice clear heels, I'd actually also put the food dye on the heels as well to brighten up the wood.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And make it all one nice uniform color.
So leather food and food dye are the same thing. Got it.
Sometimes. Leather dye, completely different thing. Oop. Webster's here.
Oh.
Callie's boy.
Oh.
He says, 2 of my favorites, girlfriend and Pop Aiken. You darling. So what was your favorite thing about your title years?
Favorite thing about title years? It's a title eternity at this point because it's
You win.
never ending. I win. No, it's because there is no successor to this title, so it just goes on in perpetuity. My favorite thing about it really is the ability to meet folks and talk with folks. It has given me the chance to go to events and talk with people and give presentations that I wouldn't otherwise have had the opportunity to do. And it's allowed me to strike up conversations, quite frankly, like the one we're having right now. Because I suspect the reason we're having this is related to the fact that I have a title. It probably...
I thought you were inspirational, just flat out.
Oh.
That's why.
I'll bet, though, that you had the opportunity to see me in that context because of the title.
I was also there when you won your title.
Yeah. So the title just has given me the chance to have these conversations with folks that I wouldn't otherwise have, and to make more people aware of what pet play is and how it works and why we like it so much. And like I went out to an age play conference. So I'm into pet play, people pretending to be animals, right? Pretending. We're not really pretending, we really are, but yeah, anyway, pretending. Other people are into age play, where they pretend to be younger than they are. And I went out to one of those conferences, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell's going on around me. I don't know how this works. I don't know what's going on, what the norms are. But I was there kind of as an ambassador to say, here's pet play, and here's what pet play's like. And I got to run a mosh at this age play conference. And so I had all these cute, adorable little kids.
So adorable.
Right? But I had all these little kids that are like, I want to play with the puppies. And it was so fun. Because when you get people who want to act like puppies and you get people who want to act like little kids, they instantly know how to interact right. Because little kids play with puppies and it just works, right? It's just so fun to watch. So yeah, my favorite part is just going to see people and have these conversations and get more awareness out there.
I love it.
Yay!
Yay! How do you think events will change after COVID?
I think we are going to reevaluate what we need from these events. One of the things we absolutely need from these events is human connection. And that's the thing that we've all lost this past year and a half. And so we know how valuable that is, and we want that back, and we've got a thirst for that. And so these events are not going to change that way. I think we're going to value and appreciate that aspect of these events more. I think, though, it might give us a chance to kind of challenge the standards of our contests. Why do, COVID made us rethink everything, so why not rethink our score sheets and what we ask out of our contestants, and what kinds of questions do we ask them? Are these things really important? Are these other things more important? Should we ask questions about this instead of that? I had somebody apologies to the person who posed the question on Facebook. I don't remember where it came from, but somebody said, I'm in charge of a title, and we usually have the pecs and right? Pecs and personality aspect of the contest. And like, what could this look like in a post-COVID world? If I don't really want to focus on pecs, because that is gender specific, what are we actually looking for in a pecs and personality aspect of a contest, which I love, because what they're doing there is they're saying we get value out of this. What actually, though, is the value? If we detach the value from the gendered concept, what are we really looking for? And so it might help that contest be more true to itself.
And more thoughtful.
Yes.
I like that.
So I'm hoping that more contests do that and more events do that. And they say, all right, what is it that we actually need out of this? And what can we do to do what we are good at even more or even better?
I love it. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go in. We're gonna let the Chelsea sink in to see if we're gonna need another layer. But we're gonna go ahead and fix these big wrinkles right here, which those guys kind of happen because your feet sweat and then the leather kind of dries out over time and goes eh. So it's dried out inside. So we're gonna take. I really like Obanoff's. It's probably one of my favorites. We're gonna just take it and we're gonna put it inside all those wrinkles right there.
So you're...
Yep, your fist in your shoe.
I understand this. You're speaking there. All right.
So you're just going to go
Again,
ahead.
how much?
That's perfect.
Okay.
And make sure you warm it up in your hand. Yep.
Well, do like this then.
Yes. All right.
Get it all the way up in there. Oh, yeah.
Littles love puppies.
Of course
Hi,
they
Zachary.
do. Puppies love littles too.
We love them too.
We just understand each other like immediately.
You guys are always on the same
to.
wavelengths, and that's what I love, like observing at contests and such. And
It's so fun.
it's my favorite.
Like, you aren't like me. We're not the same thing, and yet I understand you.
We get each other. We love each other. How do we as a community make safe spaces for everybody?
Okay, so I think... Whoa, my shoe was not as clean as I wanted.
You have toe jam in your shoe.
Okay.
It is a
Wow.
cruel factor.
That is a thing. So, I don't know that there is a way to make a single space that is safe for everyone. Because some people, if they are safe, they are going to want to exclude other people. And they are going to want to make a space unsafe for people they don't like. So I think the way we're approaching this question is a little bit like we're fooling ourselves if we think that everyone can be catered to. But I think what you're actually trying to ask here is how can we make our spaces safer to diversity and make sure that people feel welcome in our spaces and that sort of thing. And the first thing that comes to my mind is ask people to either help you run these events, to create these spaces, or say, if this were up to you and you were making it for your people, what would this look like? So for instance, if I'm going to run a critter event, right? God help us all if I do, but if I were to run a critter event, and I want to make sure that it is a safe space for littles to go, and I want to make sure that littles feel welcome in my pet play event, I need to go to a little and say, hey, what do you need in this space? I'm going to create this. What are your thoughts as a little? What's a little's take on this thing that I'm talking about right now? And I think the important question to ask is, if this were up to you, and if you were making this space for that group of people, what would this space have? What does this space need? What would this space look like? And because the way a little would reimagine a space is very different from the way that a critter would reimagine a space. But if I hear from the little side, I know how I can incorporate that need into the space that I'm building. So it's like, how would you build this from the ground up? What would it look like if it were all up to you, and then figure out ways to
Bring it back
that
around.
in? Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Because the thing that I'm trying to avoid is saying, I built this thing, now what do you need? Because I might have built it wrong in the first place. So we
need
set that to the
feedback.
side. We need to start. Like, what would it look like to start with? Yeah.
I love it. Aw, thanks, Zach. He says, well, we're well. All right, so let me take a look. See how like a lot of that white just like disappeared from the bottom half?
I will take your word for it.
Okay. So
I think they did on yours.
they did on mine. It's fine. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you the shoe for a minute, and you can. Sometimes you just need a professional touch, and that's okay.
Yep. Interesting.
That's why I'm here.
Because I thought that one felt like it was wetter inside than yours, but yours, okay.
Sometimes it's just rubbing it in. Again, it seems like this foot might be a little bit bigger than the other foot. Do you have
I
two?
should know this off the top of my head, which one's tighter, but I don't.
You haven't worn real adult shoes in months, so we get it.
And also, as a reminder, these were never laced and unlaced. These are slipped on. And so I don't remember which one felt tighter, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, one is a different size than the other, but I don't remember which one's the bigger.
It's okay. I'm just gonna rub it in. I want to make sure you're happy at the end of the day, because you're the one that gets to walk home in these.
Yay!
Yay!
It's a long walk.
I know, right?
Aww.
You'll be fine. Hey, Pop, can you grab me some more rags? Because I'm going to let these pop up for a minute. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to help give this shoe some shape while we work on the next part. So I'm going to just shove a rag in the toe heel. You can do this also if you have one of those fancy shoehorn boys. But if you don't, same thing. So we're just gonna make sure. Thanks. I have so many rags. It's my life, man. I'm the rag lady. All right. Okay, so we're gonna make sure they get some shape. There we go. And this will help blend out the conditioner inside there and make sure it pops back up while we're doing other things. Oh, someone commented a good commented on that last question. JS Rock, I think getting feedback from the community is important when creating events. You want people to feel comfortable and welcome. We agree.
Absolutely. And so then we also have to think of which people we're asking for feedback. And so, not to toot our horns here, but one of the things that title holders are able to do is connect people with other folks for opinions like that. So, for instance, if someone else is going to host an event and they want to know what they can do to make it a welcoming event for critters, they're probably going to come to me because I'm a little bit more visible in the community, and I'm not going to say I know what's right for critters. That's not what my title means. What my title does mean I probably know a whole bunch of critters. And so when you come to me, I'm probably like, yes, I know exactly who to send you to. I know exactly where to go to get more information.
You know exactly what people to put the spark in fire and be like, come this way.
Or I probably have a whole bunch of community, small chat communities that I'm a part of that I can say, I will ask and get back to you. And so I'm able to go off, to my little critter community and say, hey, we've been asked this question. What response should I send back, right? So we're being waved at. So we can, title holders within communities can be resources for people to make other connections out there.
Deal. Oh, he responded back. You also don't know, there could be a very first person they interfere with in terms of being interested in an event. You also want to encourage them and help guide them. We are all about that. Which does help this next question, actually.
Segue.
Serendipitous. What advice would you give someone who wants to run for a leather kink contest?
Find one that aligns with your values. I can't emphasize that one enough. So here in Florida, we have a bunch of different contests.
We're spoiled, sorry.
A bunch of different things people can run for and all that. No, you're not sorry, because we love it. And different contests are well suited for different people. Some contests are designed for fundraising. Some are designed for raising awareness. Some are designed to hand people up to other contests to compete for other things. And different contest producers have different priorities for what they want that title holder to achieve during their year. So if you're interested in running for a title, talk to the producers, talk to the people who have won that title in the past, and ask, what do they want out of this title? What does this title allow people to do? And what is this contest about? Because with those questions, you'll get to see, yes, that's the kind of thing that speaks to me. That's the kind of thing I'm interested in. Or you'll say, oh, that's a good idea, and I like that. That's not what I was expecting you would say, and that's not what I need out of a contest, so maybe that one's not well suited for me. And then you go find another one, and there have been plenty of people who are like, hey, should I run for the title that you have? And I've told several people, yes, absolutely, this would be a perfect title for you. You would do great things with this particular group, with this producer, etc. And there have been people that I've said, nope, this one won't give you what you need at this point in your career, in your path, and whatever we're looking for here. Like the way I know how you work as a pet, and you wouldn't fit with this title correctly. This other one over here, you'd like eat this up. This is made for you.
This is your peanut butter right over here.
Yep. This is your vibe. This is where you belong. And it wasn't at all like you're gonna fail if you go here. You're gonna win if you go here. That's not what this is about. It's where are you a good fit. Mm-hmm. Kind of like, so I've been on the job market for the past 15 months, which is sucked during a pandemic. But one of the things you probably hear for the job market is it's just finding the right fit for you. And
I know, I just left my crappy job.
There you go. And if a job says, no, you're not getting this job, that doesn't mean you suck as a human being. It just means that you're not the right person for that particular position. And I've even seen people who have competed before, and they're like, I can't get titles, and I hate that I keep like losing titles or something like that. There must be something wrong with me. And that's never the case. Titles and contests and all that are opportunities for a community to see who will best suit the needs of that particular contest that year. And hell, I've even recommended people, like some folks who are really new to the scene, really unsure where they're going with things, and they're like, I'm thinking of running, I have no idea. I say, you're probably, you will learn so much about yourself, about the community, about how things work. You're probably not going to win, but you will learn so much, and it will be such a great experience for you. You absolutely should run. And I've run with people who have learned about themselves during those contests, and the number of people, and we don't hear from these folks too often, but the number of people who go through a title contest do not come out of that contest with a patch on their back, but come out of that contest with a smile on their face and extra confidence in their step, because they now see who they are and how they can interact with this community is just so heartwarming. And I want to encourage more people to run without the intention of winning. Quite frankly, like, I'm serious here, because the process of running for a title helps you understand yourself within the context of the community so much better than any other process I know. And if you don't worry about winning, then if you don't, you're okay.
Yeah.
No sweat. Because you have achieved your goal. You've learned about yourself. You've seen more of the community, that sort of stuff.
You've done the thing,
yes.
and you've learned.
Yes.
I think that's the important part.
That was a huge tangent off your original question. But
I'll take it.
It still applies, because what I say to people who are interested in running for a title, make sure it's the one that suits you so that you can become the best version of you.
I love it. Someone here.
Lots of writing. Yay.
It is.
I like.
No worries. It sounds like your guest is very informed. I live in an area where getting in contact with local communities and groups is difficult. Mm-hmm. Plate and expiration is still hard to talk about in the Bible Belt at times. People are still trying to find their comfort, but important thing is that we approach it with an open heart and an open mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And for folks who are in geographic areas without a large physical community or these events to attend and that sort of thing, online community is amazing.
Yes.
I know that puppies exist a lot on Telegram. There are shows like these, podcasts like mine. It can help find other people. Mm-hmm. Conversation exists about them. The puppy community is huge on Facebook, Twitter, and Telegram. Instagram too. Oh my gosh.
And TikTok.
Okay.
So much.
It's everywhere. So I guess it's a matter of finding keywords. Mm-hmm. So I would say search for human puppies or pet play. Those two terms can probably get you what you need. And it's possible to make friends and better understand yourself as whatever it is you're trying to be, whatever pet you are, etc. Just from those online interactions. I'm not saying they're a replacement for physical interactions. Pet play is very physical. It's very interactive. There's an awful lot of the act of me crawling around on all fours means a lot, and that is where I get my release and my relief And without that, it's just not the same. So those who aren't able to get to one of these spaces, one of these events, I feel for you. I really do. Until that time, find community online, because it does exist and it can be amazingly reaffirming and supportive.
Gotcha. Someone asked, can you explain what a title is? So a title is a contest that gets held from a wire that gets held, and you're voted on by peers and such. Depends on the scoring scale. Each one's a little bit different. Some titles are only for that region. Some go on to be statewide, international, or even world. Like for me, I am the Florida Community Boot Black. I am the one here for Florida. We have internationals. I don't know when they're being held. COVID messed all that up. Vegas is the title holder for 2019 Critter for his title year, and doesn't have like a successing contest and such like that.
And puppy titles do progress up to like international puppy, that sort of thing. There's drama involved there right now, so check back in a while and we'll see what rises out of the ashes.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the International Boot Black either, but I love AJ Porter. They've been on the show.
AJ's the best.
AJ is the best.
But another way of thinking of the what is the title question, if you've seen the movie Paris is Burning, or if you've seen the show Pose, those aren't exactly the same thing, but they are dang close, because what you're seeing there is a contest where someone is given a title, the award of you are the best version of this thing that we saw this night at our event. That's kind of what these are. It's a bunch of leather folks coming together to say, this is the best representation of what we want to see in our community for this particular title this night or this year.
Yeah.
That's probably a better way of saying it. So it's a person who represents an aspect of that community.
All right. Let me go ahead. Can leather and kink get political?
When aren't they?
It's the month of Pride, guys.
Okay, so yeah, should we read?
Wait, we should probably go back to this because this next part's going to take us a while.
I'm about to rant.
You're
right.
fine. We can rant.
Yep.
So we're going to use Sapphires here. This is the metal parade gloss, and we're just going to gently buff the toe. This is a sock or a t-shirt wrapped around a pair of pantyhose.
So
you get a very squishy ball.
For those who are not familiar with puppies, if you watched my face a second ago, you just saw me drop it. We call it dropping into headspace. My human brain is turning off because I'm like, oh my god, I want to chew this. I want to like gnaw on this and rip the shreds, and I'm realizing that my hand...
That one's a clean one, so you're fine.
No, my hand's got crap on it, and I'm not going to put the whatever in my mouth now, so I can't chew on this. But I desperately want to gnaw on this because it's got this perfect squishy texture. It's firm enough to resist, but it's soft enough that it's not going to hurt me, and it's got this thing that I can tug on. And so the puppy side of my brain is going bonkers. I'm like, chew toy. This is an amazing chew toy, and I just want to like go off and have fun with this and forget this. Yeah.
I'll send you home with one. A clean one.
Okay, so I legit totally tuned out, and I'm not even kidding you. And I saw it as it was happening. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna forget everything she's about to say. Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine. I'll send you home with one. Gotcha. Okay, so
repeat the instructions. I totally didn't hear any of it. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna set that there for a second so I listen.
Okay, so we have Sapphires Mirror Parade Gloss, and we're gonna take the ball and we're gonna rub it around here, and we are just gonna gently do the toes.
Okay.
It's called buffing.
All right. So BDSM kink, can it be political? And my answer is, when is it not? Because people in the BDSM and kink communities are labeled by society as being deviants. We are not normal people. We are interested in things that society in general says we should not be interested in. We take pleasure in situations and people and whatnot that other folks say we shouldn't do. And if we want to be able to be ourselves, if we want to be able to gather in groups, if we want to be able to acknowledge that side of our personality.
Just on the toe.
Oh!
You're okay. This is how we're going to fix all those like scuffs and such on your toes.
Oh!
This is why
now
we're
I understand why we're doing it.
Okay.
Got it. Thanks for keeping an eye on me.
You're fine. This is why I'm here, I'm a teacher.
Yeah. So yeah, we our communities need to stand up for themselves, because the broader society wants to tell us that it's not okay to have fun. It's not okay to be yourself. It's not okay to be a grown-ass adult and use your sense of imagination and make-believe.
It's not okay to buy fun things with your adult money.
Right.
Rude.
to use make-believe to pretend to be something that you aren't for a while because it's fun, right? Like, here's another tangent. Whenever I go to pride events as a puppy, I always have so much fun because the adults are like, the fuck is that? What's going on over there? And the kids are like, it's a puppy! Right. Like, instantly get it. Not a problem at all. And it's occurred to me that children exist in the world of make-believe. And to children, make-believe is normal. To adults, make-believe has been programmed out of our brains, and it doesn't exist anymore. Like, it is this thing that we are not supposed to talk about or acknowledge. And so adults are like, well, that ain't normal. And kids are like, that's a puppy, because they understand. At St. Pete Pride a couple years back, we were walking around for a while, and just as I was about ready to get back to my car, this kid is like, oh, puppy! And he walks up to me and he says, can I get a picture with you? And he was so adorable. And I was like, of course you can. And so I, get down on all fours. And the kid, I'm wearing a harness, a nylon harness at the time. And it's got a ring in the center of it. And I get down on all fours right next to the kid. The kid grabs the ring and like holds tight on the harness. I'm like, oh shit, this kid's got it. Like, he knows what he's doing. He wants to take a picture of the puppy, and he knows that the puppy needs to be contained, and he's got me held by the harness. Yeah, like, didn't even bat an eye. It was amazing. So political, right? So like, if the world were full of kids, this question wouldn't make any sense. Because the world is full of adults, we need to have political representation. We need to make ourselves heard, and we also need to make sure people can see us and know that we exist, because most of society wants to pretend that we don't. And then if someone else out there belongs in this community, they might not know it exists. Did I do something wrong?
No, you're fine. Okay. You're perfect. I was just showing you like how it all buffed out, like on your shoe toe here.
So I think I didn't do enough, did I?
You did do a lot, but there's also a technique I'm going to show you right now.
Oh.
So basically, we did the circles,
yep.
and that's to align the molecules in this product. Mm-hmm. And now this is how you buff it out straight, is you just go way up and down. So no, I was pausing to show you something. Yep.
Okay, I'll finish doing this a little bit. And then I'm going to brush it out gaily forward, because I can't brush it out straight.
That's okay.
Okay.
No one in this house is really straight.
Yes!
It's great.
So we do like that. Okay, yep, I see it. Yep.
See, science.
Makes a difference.
But blacking is a lot of science and magic. But
mostly magic.
But mostly magic. All right. So I also agree. Plus, if you know your history, we were there the very beginning, guys.
First Pride was a riot, etc., etc.
Pride's a riot. Don't let the police there. Is BDSM kink sexual? What we do sexual?
I thought about that question, and I still don't have a good answer for this one, because yes, like, I want to say that it always is. At the very same time, as a puppy, I am asexual. If you think, like, biologically, dog versus puppy. Puppy means prepubescent. Puppy means not old enough to have sex, just like physically. When I'm in my puppy mode, I legit don't understand sex. I've been in a mosh before and had somebody come up behind me and like try to mount me, and I actually got confused. I was like, what's happening back here? And it wasn't until later that I realized, oh, they were trying to initiate sex. I like legit had no idea that was happening. I'm in a puppy play for the fun, for the silliness, and for the mental escape, not for sex. Other people are, so this is how my read on it. But the BDSM kink community as a whole celebrates people who, I'm going to use this phrase lightly and broadly, they get off on different things. And when you say I get off on stuff, the idea behind that phrase is to actually have an orgasm. And so there's a really close alignment there where you can get off on cleaning shoes. That's a thing that you derive a tremendous amount of pleasure from, and you get joy from it. It might turn you on a bit. I don't know. And then separating, where's the line between this thing that I do for pleasure that gets me going and this thing that gets me off? I don't know where to draw that line sometimes. And there's this word that I learned, I think it was only a year or two ago, sapiosexual, people who are turned on by intelligence. Like, legit, I get hard when I see that somebody's smart, that sort of concept. So then, like, where do we draw that line between this is a thing that I'm interested in, this is a stimulating conversation, for instance. We wouldn't call it stimulating if it didn't actually stimulate us. So where does that go, right? So as an asexual puppy, I don't have sex, but this community is infused with sex, because it's people who understand that identity and expression of that identity shouldn't be as limited as society usually makes it. And so we have people who are freely expressive of their sexuality, have people who are freely expressive of their identity, and trying to say one of those should exist without the other is denying that sense of identity. So yes, it is sexual. It is often, usually sexual. In my particular case, it's not, but whenever I'm talking with other folks in the puppy play community, we will talk about sex stuff. We will have sex with the people in that community, but that's separate from the actual puppy play for me.
Yes.
So it's a really weird, nuanced, complex answer, but there you are.
I'll take it. I will always take the hard answers. Especially because, like, in case you don't know, behind the scenes, my husband's ace. And, like, this is why I have other play partners and such. But we still love each other at the end of the day, and I'm still, like, there to help serve him and things like that. So, it's always one of those good things. Let's see.
You just said that you will take it, and you're always there to take the hard answers. And I'm just like, you just said take and hard, and you're sitting next to a bottom, and you can't do that to me.
I mean, I have a whole bunch of bad dragons hanging around.
Wow. What are we doing after this episode?
All right.
So I'm a horn dog, is what you just learned.
I already knew that.
Sorry. Just learned.
New people are learning.
I found out last week that somebody I've known for years on Facebook had changed my name in our messenger conversation to horn dog. And I did not know this until Facebook just last week says, so-and-so changed his name for you. And I was like, oh, I have got to know. What did you call me? And he's like, really? You want to know? Yes, I do. I called you horn dog. Guilty as charged.
I love it. Let's see. JS Rock. Also, I don't really vibe with labels per se. I think labels have a place and time to better help understand things or get you in the right playing field in general sense. You are into what you're into. Labeling isn't always necessary. The important thing is that you're happy and you have fun exploring yourself. To know yourself is important.
Let me jump into that and give you a yes and here. I agree with everything you just said. My suggestion is replace the word label with the word descriptor. Because descriptor tells us that it's a temporary thing. It is a word that applies right now. It is a thing that is going to describe that person as I see them. A label puts a box around somebody and says, stay there. And puppies aren't very good at stay. So if we label somebody as something, they think that's all they're ever going to be. But if we give them a descriptor, then they're able to change, and a different descriptor can work at a different time. Even labeling myself as a puppy is limiting. That means that I don't start to think of myself as, oh, what if I did, what
if you grew up and become a doggo?
Possibly,
always
right?
possible.
Or even just see a different kind of kink or fetish play. And if I'm like, oh no, I'm only a puppy, that's going to limit me from considering that there are other options. And I've had a lot of people be like, no, I will find this other kink that you're into, and we will get you out of that box. But it's think in terms of descriptors, and that will help kind of make things feel more fluid and emphasize the point that you just made there.
I love it. Love it. Okay. All right. So you jumped to this question earlier. Tell us your top 3 kinks and or fetishes.
Puppy, puppy, and puppy.
Puppy and puppy and puppy. And we'll take it.
Let's see here. I mean, I think we already established that I'm into fisting. Does that count? I don't even know.
I love fisting. I love I have baby tiny hands. So
yes, you do. What are you doing for this podcast today? Because my goodness, yeah. And I have bottomed once for a knife play scene. We were talking earlier. There's this label, because yay, this label called highly sensitive people. And I hate the label because it makes us sound like we're snowflakes, but it's people who, I don't know, maybe our sensory receptors are cranked up to 11 or something like that, but we are almost too sensitive to a lot of stuff. Like, I get annoyed by sounds like you would not believe. And like cigarette smoke drives me up a wall, and I'm just...
And smells, like that was a big thing.
My boyfriend calls me a delicate little flower, and he says it both lovingly and to poke fun at me, and I totally accept both because I deserve it. I'm overly sensitive I'm highly sensitive to a lot of different things, so I've found that sensation play is right up my alley. I go into these events and I see people getting the shit beat out of them, and they say that it's fun, and I was like, what are you even doing? You come near me with a flogger and I'm going to run the other way. I have zero interest in experiencing that because I am overly sensitive to pain. I'm overly sensitive to tactile experiences. So
I wonder how you would do with mummification and a coloring pad. Thoughts for later.
I was going to say, we will follow up on that one later.
That's a later question.
The mummification then goes into my whole entrapment hard no.
Gotcha.
Restraint hard no from me. So yeah, that would be, we'd have to talk more about that one.
Deal, no problem.
So like sensation play is something that I'm interested in. I just have very limited experience with it. So if I'm going to say top 3, it's still going to be puppy, 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 but with an asterisk that, I don't know, if this is a kink or fetish, then go for it. And if sensation play is on that list, that's something I'm interested in, need to learn more about.
Gotcha. We've checked the box, but we need to learn things.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and put another coat of the Chelsea's on just
Okay.
to make sure everything blends back in seamlessly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Feels about the same.
They feel about the same.
All right. Is there another question? Like, should I
There
flip over the next
is.
card?
Let's see. How can one be an ally to the queer community?
Okay. Speaking only for myself here, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm just
it's for you.
I'm gonna throw this idea out there and see if it sticks and see how other people will take it. I think that a good way to be an ally for the queer community is to, when you're in any situation, think, how would so-and-so that I know is a member of the queer community, how would they react in this situation, or how would they be affected by this situation? And then, if there's a problem, and you're like, oh, so-and-so would be disadvantaged here, or someone would have a problem here, or this would cause an issue for that person, say something. And that's the important part, that's the hard part. But if there's some situation that you're in that you realize would cause problems for a person in the queer community, but it doesn't cause problems for you, that is the exact moment you need to stand up to be that ally, because you already, it's not bothering you, it's cool for you, everything's fine. You've got privilege there. That's what privilege is. And that's the moment where if you say, hey, I'm cool here, but you don't even need to say that, but if that helps you get there, say, I'm cool here, but what about other people in a different situation or a different kind of person? How would they react in this situation? Can this be changed to be more inclusive for them, to work better for them, to understand their situation? And so the thing with allies is that they aren't often directly affected by the things that affect folks in the queer community. So they need to keep thinking about folks in the queer community. Would a friend of mine have trouble here? Does this assume that I am who I am? Does it assume I'm cisgendered, straight, white, that sort of thing? Mm-hmm. And if it does, then start asking the question and say, what can we do differently to make it less problematic for people who don't have the same advantages I have?
Gotcha. It's speaking up for the little people.
Or the puppy people.
Or the puppy people.
But yes.
Or the hard of hearing people, or just being making sure you can be as accommodating as possible.
Speaking up for the people who aren't there and already understood to be real is what it boils down to. A lot of times people are just ignored or treated as though they don't exist. The world is made for straight white men, and if if a straight white man goes into a situation and they're like, "Whoa, this is made for me," that's exactly where we need to start saying, "But, what can we do to make it work for other people as well?"
Yes.
Stand up for the people who aren't represented, who aren't there, who aren't already included, who don't already have access.
Empathy and putting yourself in others' shoes is something we could really use more of this in the world, even outside of the LGBTQ plus community. All right.
Here, here.
I love it. All right. What is something you're doing to celebrate Pride Month? We are in the month of June.
I'm cleaning my shoes. That's what I'm doing to celebrate Pride Month. No, so I went to the festival at Tampa Pride, and I that was actually last month. So Tampa, gotta shout out and represent for my hometown here. Tampa had the first post-COVID Pride Parade in the country.
They did.
We cheated. We had it in May, not in June, but we usually have it in March. So we're already hurting here. It's like too hot and sweaty for Pride Parade.
It gets hot.
Oh my gosh. So
Gainesville's Pride's like coming up at the end of this month, and I'm like, oh my
and
god.
Jacksonville is I think the week after, and Wilton Manors is on the 19th, and like they're all the prides. So I got a bunch of pups together to go to the street festival at Tampa Pride. It was awesome. We had 22 pups, I think, show up. It was so fun. And really all it was, we all just met at one spot and then walked together over to the festival, and then we just started kind of going through the festival on our own time, and people just made groups, and they kind of broke off, and different people did different things, and we regrouped later in the afternoon, a bunch of us, to get drinks, and then people split off again to go get food. It was totally just like do your own thing, but we started together so that pups from the local communities were able to meet each other, see each other face to face for the first time in months, years, whatever, and get to know some people, have others to connect with, to go through this festival together. And then there was no obligation for us to do anything else, and so it was just, if you see something else you want to go do it. It was great. We all had a lot of fun. And then later this month, I intend to march in, it's called the Stonewall Parade in Wilton Manors, Florida. That's on the 19th. Because this is going out live. I'm probably, and I'm still going to say probably because I haven't signed the paperwork yet, I'm probably moving out of state in a couple of months.
I know, big cry.
Yeah, big cry. And so this is probably going to be my last opportunity to march in a Pride Parade in Florida. So I really, really want to go. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to march with a bunch of other pups from South. Actually, it's the South Florida Kennel Club that's got the spot in the parade, so I'm going to march with them. It'll be a lot of fun. And I know I just said march with other pups, and I know they're called the Kennel Club, but I also know that they are very, very critter friendly. So if there are folks who are hearing this who aren't puppies and they're in South Florida, they're interested in joining, I'm sure
They would love to have you.
Yep. Make lots of noise and have lots of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's what I'm doing.
I love it. I am going to be sitting here bootblacking as long as I humanly possibly can.
Please note that I did not say I'm going to go buy all the things that are rainbow colored because I support capitalism, not what I'm doing to celebrate Pride.
Gotcha. Don't do that. I mean, you can do some of it, but don't go buy up the whole Target.
Can Pride become political? Oh, hells yes it can, because I am not going to be buying all the rainbow shit, because, yeah, anyway.
Don't buy stuff from Chick-fil-A.
I don't need to be pandered to. Yeah, don't buy stuff from Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. We can do that too.
Or Walmart. Or Walmart. Okay, so we're going to take these brushes now. Mm-hmm. So we're going to gently buff out everything and make sure it's nice and even. So this is also why stuff was stuffed up there, so that way you can just go back and forth.
I did just mention sensation play, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. All right, so all of it, I got it.
The whole thing.
Gotcha.
All right. What is your favorite toy in your toy bag?
Yeah, so I'm so upset that I didn't get these questions before I left my house for my weekend trip, because I would have brought it with me. My favorite toy in my toy box is, you just told me don't shop at Walmart, and I got it at Walmart.
It's
I've not
okay.
seen it anywhere else. It's made out of tennis ball material. It looks like a bone. So it's like the quintessential two bumps over here, two bumps over there, and a tube between it, right? Made out of tennis ball material. So it's squishy, and it's hollow, and it floats, so it's great for pools in Florida. It's got fabric on it, so it's absorbent. So the texture is great. and the squishiness is just perfect, and the little nubs at either end may or may not be relatively similar in size and shape to testicles. Just going to throw that one out there, if anybody likes gnawing on those. It tosses really well, so it can be something that I can go
I think
fetch.
my dog actually has this toy, but I think he's destroyed it.
Yeah, and see, I'm just not that violent, so this one has lasted me for a long time. It is great, and it fits in my back pocket, so I can just carry it around with me wherever I go. Which then always leads to is that a bone in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? And it's like, it's both. And but yeah, it's super fun and like super cheap, but I can't find it anymore. I've looked to get a replacement because they go bad after a while. But whatever. Another great one is I've had friends take just T-shirts, like old strips of T-shirts, and weave them together, and you got a little vault at one end, and like woven.
So no wonder why you like this so much.
That is my speed.
That is your jams.
And you throw crinkly stuff in there, and that will get my attention. You throw squeaky stuff in it, and I will growl at it because I hate squeaky toys. Squeaky toys piss me off.
Someone asked, makes me wonder if animal puppy enthusiasts accidentally come across wires with the Kennel Club, and I can tell you, yes, it's happened. I know the nice puppy that runs that group, and they do politely let them know, hey,
yep,
it happens.
when I was advertising Puppies at Pride for Tampa Pride, I made it clear that this is for human pet players. Because like search terms are going to be the same, and people will stumble across and like, oh, I can bring my canine with me to Pride. I'm like, yes, you can, but don't join this group because that's not what this is about. Because you're going to get really surprised.
Yeah. You're going to love us.
Yeah, so it does happen. There is some surprise. There is some. I'm not going to say overlap, but yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it's always funny when it does.
We always kind of giggle snort when it happens.
And there's usually at Pride festivals, they usually have a booth by some dog training company or animal protection or SPCA or whatever, and they often will have canines there, and so you get a bunch of pups in our hoods, and we look at the dogs and we start barking at the dogs, and it's great fun. Though a lot of canines freak out when they see humans in hoods. Having that mask over a face makes canines not trust us because they don't recognize us, they don't know who we are. And I've seen a ton of dogs who like legit lose their shit when they see me with my hood on. I've had dogs, just happened a couple of hours ago, where I was looking at the dog, talking with the dog, everything was fine. I put the hood on while I'm staring at the dog, and the dog loses their minds because they're like, who is this imposter in front of me? I don't recognize him anymore. Yeah, it's
Which is funny because we have puppy hoods in the house.
like, how do you not get this? But it's okay.
Ooh, someone has a good question about ownership.
Oh.
I'm not sure how to ask this. I'm going to try my best. How does ownership play a role in puppy play? Are there owners? Is this equivalent to a dom?
That is a really good question. Really, really well worded. The only thing I would change in that question is replace the word owner with the word handler, and that's going to be the more common way of saying it. But there's absolutely nothing at all wrong with any of how you just asked that. Some pups are owned, some pups are not. I identify as a stray. I don't like that ownership relationship. That just doesn't fit me well. I like being too playful and too I don't know, I'm too headstrong, so I don't like that sort of thing. It does exist within the community, and a lot of folks, you say you're a handler type, and a lot of people have pup and handler relationships where they are exclusive to each other, where this one pup always has this one handler that works for them whenever they go to an event or go out in public or anything like that. Sometimes if you get more into the traditional leather approach to puppy play, it's going to be more of a degradation kind of play where you are treated as less than human. And you're treated as a dog. You eat your food out of a bin on the floor, that sort of thing. And in those situations, they almost require a handler type in that same DS kind of relationship that whoever asked the question that you were suggesting that. So yes, it very much does exist within this community in exactly the way you're thinking. An interesting thing to point out that name of the Daddy Dog. There we go. Daddy Dog. Yeah, Daddy Dog down in South Florida pointed this out to me. In every other form of BDSM play that's got a power dynamic, the the capitalized letter, the dominant, the whatever is on the left side, and then you say the name of the person who serves the dominant person. So it's a DS, a master slave, a whatever, right? Sir boy, except in puppy play. Puppy play is said as pup handler. That's just the way we say it. And what Daddy Dog pointed out was that in puppy play, it's all about the puppy. The puppy is the most important of the two. Sorry, handlers.
It's fine.
It's
Have the show.
about the pup. But the thing is, like, the handlers get their joy from interacting with the pup, so it is about the pup. And so in puppy play, the one that's normally on the right side of the slash comes first, and there is no slash there. It's a pup who might have a handler. I don't. That sort of thing. Yeah, so really good question, and there's a lot more to it than you might have expected from that question.
For me personally, I have a puppy. He's also my husband, but for necessarily, like, he kind of needed a handler owner situation, because without, he runs chaotic, and like, I will hear about it for the next 30 years, and I don't want to.
He does that as a human too.
I know, he lights himself on fire.
Uh-huh.
I swear there's a contest in our house on who is fighting who.
By contrast, in my relationship, so I've got a boyfriend, we've tried doing the puppy play thing together, and it just doesn't work. He accepts that I'm interested in this, and he sees that it gives me joy, and so he's okay with that. Like, he appreciates what it does for me, but he doesn't get it. Like, he mentally doesn't accept or understand how this is fun for me. And so we've tried doing the puppy play thing as a scene a couple of times, and it never goes well. And it occurred to me that it's because he interacts with me as a human pretending to be a dog, rather than interacting with me as a dog. That it sounds simple and subtle, but it makes a huge difference in the nature of the interaction, and it makes the role play either work or not. And in this case, it's never natural between the two of us. So we don't, like, I'm a puppy, not with him. And that's that. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I'm happy your partner lets you go out and play, though, and, like, explore and do things.
If my partner didn't let me do something like that, he would not be my partner. Yeah. That's a human respect and dignity thing.
That is.
Did I mention I'm too headstrong for my own good?
My wife is into being a pet, but is very stubborn. There's training as a handler that I can attend and learn to be a better handler while staying tuned with their needs. At the Florida Puppy Contest, whenever the Florida Critter Contest, I'm sure we will have classes about those. There's also the kink community groups on Telegram and such, and we're more than happy to answer those questions.
And I think it's puppyplay.info, maybe it's pupplay.info, I forget which, but there are websites out there dedicated to pet play and puppy play and that sort of thing.
My best advice, take it slow.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Please take it slow. Don't just jump on and put a prong collar on your partner and be like, yes, no, don't do that. Learn some safety. Don't eat dog food or cat food. Don't do that. Learn your safety things first.
And if you do go to an event or something like that, and it's for pet players, and there isn't a class for handlers, go to the event organizers and ask them why not, because there should be.
Yes.
And if you're at any kind of event like that, and you see someone who is handling a pup or walking a pup or something like that, ask them, who here can I talk to learn more about being a handler? Because they should know somebody around who they can refer you to.
Yep.
Because it's not something to just jump into without knowing what you're doing. There are things to think about. So, like, one, I would say treat the person like an actual animal. That'll help. And then don't give them animal food. Don't use choke collars.
Don't do that.
And don't. Big one for human puppies is our teeth are not as strong as canine teeth, and so a lot of toys, like the tug of war that we did earlier, I called a stop to that real quick, because human teeth can be pulled out very, very easily. Canines, their teeth are connected better to their skulls, and they won't be yanked out. So, like, little things like that you just don't think about. Yeah. Worth talking.
Always worth talking. Safety is important. What is consent?
I wanted to have a snarky answer for this, and I couldn't think of one. Consent is required. That is what consent is. Consent is necessary. Consent is is a person consciously, conscientiously, knowingly, informedly, however you want to say this, expressing a desire to engage in a certain kind of activity. Whether that's, yes, I would like to have a cup of tea right now, please. Or, yes, I would like you to stick that thing in me real hard right now, please. Or, yes, I would like you to beat the shit out of my back with that flogger that you have in your hand right now, please. It is consciously, knowingly understanding what you're getting into and agreeing to and requesting that activity. It is not something that you get. It is something that you seek, and it may be granted to you. But I don't like saying, I need to get consent for this. Because that sounds like I'm demanding it. It's something that I'm going to extract. Instead, I say, I hope someone will give consent for this, or I need to find out if they're willing to give consent to this, because the consent is always given by a person. It cannot be taken from someone, and I think we keep that in mind. If we're doing something with someone else, we need to make sure that they understand what they're doing and that they want to do that. Mm-hmm. So I would argue that we had negotiations prior to this.
Yes, we did.
This isn't sexual at all, but we talked about what was going to happen. We talked about where boundaries were. We talked about what I wanted to do, what you wanted to do, where those overlapped, and we came to an agreement about things. There were a couple things that I said, nope, don't want to do that, or that's not going to work too well, or it was just like that's happening. Okay, and I accepted it willingly and knowingly, but we made sure to talk through because we're used to working with consent and we understand the importance of being given consent by people. Mm-hmm. And so you sought it from me and I granted it to you, and
here we are.
Yes. Yep.
And here we are today.
And so if you're not used to thinking of consent in terms of like sexual situations or BDSM or kinky situations, in terms of conversations, it can still work. And you'll giggle. The first time you try doing it, you'll giggle. You're like, why am I seeking consent for this? But the more you become habituated to it, the easier it will be to be like, well, you show me the size of your hand, so let's negotiate what that hand can do to me later on. And we could have that negotiation and treat it seriously because we are so used to engaging in negotiations and consent discussions.
For me personally, I consider consent doing participation ribbons. Consent's always needed. You get the participation ribbon. What I'm looking for is an enthusiastic consent to get the giant trophy. Mm-hmm. I'm going for the big trophy, and I want an enthusiastic yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how I get it. Like, I got the partition ribbon, great. I want the big trophy and like all the other ribbons that come with it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I want all the things. All right, so we're gonna start lacing these guys back up. Actually, do you remember? These guys are doing great. Your shoe looks good.
They look a lot darker than I was expecting them to be.
But this is why you take care of them.
Oh.
This is why. And now they'll last forever. And now you learned something today.
I did. I learned that shoe toys can be used to clean shoes. That's what I learned. They
can be. See, we can do puppy play and get shoes.
Have you on your show talked about the signifiers built into the way people lace shoes?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good.
Yes, I definitely have, and oh boy.
I just did that backward, didn't I?
Okay.
Yep. Nope, no, I didn't. I did that right. Okay. Sorry, you were about to say something.
Is there any organizations you support in the community? Talked about.
I think, don't worry about mimicking what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'll probably relace them later. I have no idea. I should have taken a picture of this first. Yeah. Step one, before you do work on something, take a picture of it so you can put it back together again.
That was my bad.
Yeah, that'll do. Let me back up here. So professionally, I'm a teacher. Teachers don't get paid much. So when people talk about supporting things, I usually think they mean financially, and I usually start to feel sad because I don't financially support a lot of stuff because I don't have the spare income that I would like to have to be able to throw around and be like, money for this and money for that. So I would like to say that I donate to these worthy causes and that sort of thing. but that's never been the language that I speak. I speak, my love language is time rather than gifts. And so I spend time with groups that I want to support. And so that would be pup and handler groups, local pup and handler groups within the state of Florida, and people who are working with critter-related contests and that sort of thing. And so the way I support groups is to help them like get word out for things, or to help them think through processes that they're doing, to help provide like thinking through things. I was gonna say like logistical support and that sort of stuff. Helping people. Helping give perspective to things, and spending time within communities to kind of bring people together and help build up the support network that way.
Deal. Awesome. Well, I'm going to thank you for your time, because that was thank
This
you.
was fun, and
Good.
you guys are so pretty.
They're so pretty. Is there anything else you'd like to end with? All right.
Okay.
Pup's answering all the questions, which is great. Thanks, Pup. Thanks, Cookies. What, shoelacing significant? Yes, there is lots of shoelacing signifiers. But that is a topic for another day.
That's another episode that you should go look up.
That is another episode, and I go in depth on the pair of boots that I did on YouTube for the contest on how middle lacing works and things like that. But
the first time I sat in a boot black's chair and had them work on my shoes, as they went to relace it, they said, "Okay, are you a top or a bottom?" I was like, "You're asking me this now?" And they're like, "I can't lace your boots until you tell me if you're a top." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we had to figure out like which one went over the other, and then which side was what. Did they mirror each other? Did they? Yeah. So
I've accidentally,
that's
I've done it
into.
where I've accidentally tied a sir as a submissive.
Whoops.
Whoops, happens. But you learn, you grow. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. This episode will be up on YouTube soon. If you'd like, follow Akis on all his social media endeavors. He will be linked down in below.
It's Pup Akis, AECHUS.
There you go.
Pretty easy. I'm the only one of me.
Well, I hope so. I don't know if you have an
I
evil
wish
twin.
I could clone me. Something's being pointed to.
Something's being pointed to.
No. Pups,
Pups. So if you want to learn how to boot black and such, I am actually selling miniature kits. So if you are interested, I can send you stuff. And it comes with a little card, and you could go on YouTube and follow along with me on those directions as well. And it comes with a dauber brush, a whole bag, and it's a good starter kit as well. So it's on my website, girlfriendxoxo.com. So you're more welcome to purchase it there, and those proceeds will go back to Florida Community Boot Black. The price is listed on the website. What?
XOXOXO.
.com. There's 3 Xos. It's the same channel name that we have here now. Lord, my tech support pup. I love you very much. Awesome. Have a great day, guys. Please be safe. Bye.